Hello ladies, gentlemen and others, my name is Dan, the voice behind that Kaito Dan, and welcome to my breakdown of this year's RWBY panel at RTX at Home 2021. Before we get started though, sorry if I sound a little bit rough in this video. I'm currently battling a bit of a cold I've got, so please bear with me on that. And I'm also probably going to be rambling a lot in this video. I tried to take notes as the panel was going on, but halfway through I kind of lost track because I was kind of losing my mind. This was a hell of a panel, but yeah, let's just get into what is always the first biggest question heading into one of these panels. When is the new volume? Fortunately though, we don't have a date at all yet, not even a penciled in one, and they fairly explain that they are still very much in production of this volume. They're working really hard, they are going really deep into the work now. Many teams are moved on to like some of the later stages of the production, but because of the ongoing situation of working from home and all the requirements of the work that has been asked of them, considering everything that they have to do for this volume, which you'll see soon enough, I'll share in a bit. This is a massive volume that is taking a lot of demands out of the RWBY, and as such, they can't confidently give us any kind of date information just yet, which is unfortunate. Again, it's a shame that we don't get any kind of date just yet, but it is a completely understandable situation as well. These guys have been working tirelessly through the past 2 years or so now with both Volume 8 and this volume, and of course the situation going on in the world right now, many of them working from home, some of them only just now, I believe, moving back into the studios. So it's a massive project that is going through so many hoops, and I completely understand why they can't feel confident enough to give us any kind of release window just yet. And this would be for the benefit of the show itself as well. They get more time to refine things as much as possible until they are ready to give us any kind of release information. Again, as disappointing as it is, I'm sure many of us will understand that these guys are working very hard through a very tough situation, and they're trying their best to give us the best possible visuals, audio quality, best performances, best writing, best everything for this massive volume coming up. So it's unfortunate, but I completely understand. And spinning off of that as well, in terms of other release date information, a while back we had information released by Casey in regards to the Volume 8 soundtrack, and the fact that that doesn't have any confirmation of a date just yet because of an unfortunate personal health issue affecting the Williams family, which more than anything else, I completely understand that as well. Everything is secondary when it comes to a personal health issue, and my heart goes out to the Williams family through their trying times right now. I'm more than willing to wait on whenever we get this soundtrack. And again, much love to them. I hope they all persevere through this, and whenever we do get information on the soundtrack, I'll be sure to share it out on my Twitter, so please follow me on there, and also please follow Casey on the Twitter as well, and she'll give out information when available there as well. But let's move on to some of the actual concrete information that we got at this panel, starting with, as of course always, some merchandise. Revealed last year at the RTX panel, we now have a bit more information on the RWBY Tiki mugs, which look fantastic from Geeky Tikis, and they are going to be a RT Store exclusive. I don't have the date, if there was one mentioned, on the top of my head. If there is, I apologize. Again, I was taking notes as I can. But they look to be coming very, very soon. And again, RT Store exclusive, so be on the lookout for that when they drop. as well as the new fleeces from RWBY for Jean with the Pumpkin Pete design, and my girl Best Bun Velvet has a new fleece as well, complete with a little fluffy rabbit tail keychain, which looks very adorable and very cute, and I'm very tempted to get one because it is velvet. And we also got a new Penny shirt featuring the duality of her two different designs, the robot self and her human self. And these are also, of course, coming to the RT store. As of this moment, they say sold out on the store right now, but that's only because the delays of the actual stock arriving at RT store has hampered some things. But as soon as they are available, they will be ready to buy and purchase, so be on the lookout for that as well. As the Volume 7 soundtrack physical CD. That's coming out now onto the RT store, as well as the Remnant Map Fleece Blanket, which looks pretty cool actually. I'm really tempted to get that, to get like a nice on-hands visual of the map of Remnant, and make it a fleece blanket as well. That's actually really cool, and again, that's coming to the RT store. Moving on now into some side project news. This was leaked a little while back, no thanks to Amazon and various bookstores, but we have an official reveal now of the newest E.C. Myers novel, which is Roman Holiday, which I've discussed recently in a separate video, links in the description down below, and this is featured on Roman, Torchwick, and Neo. As you can see, it is coming out, I believe, the 7th of September, I believe. We did get a little bit of the details on this. It is the origin story of these two characters, and we're also going to be getting a good amount of world building as well. So this is exciting for not just learning some very, very high in demand background on these two well-loved characters, but also getting perhaps a bit more world building on Vale and the criminal underground going on there that we didn't get much of in the initial volumes, which I'm very excited to see. The E.C. Myers books are a ton of fun to read, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this. Ooh, one last other bit of a merchandise related news. We got the concept look of the figure for Yang from Good Smile Company's pop-up arcade, with the pre-orders coming very soon. But just because we got all of Team RWBY done in terms of figures does not mean that that's the end of it, as they also revealed that Penny is going to be getting a figure as well. I assume it's going to be her Volume 7 Atlas design, the long-haired look, which I'm more than okay with. So yeah, I'm glad that they're expanding to other characters beyond Team RWBY. We're still waiting for that Crow figure that was like revealed ages ago. I wish that was like fully revealed and fully released. But I'm glad that they're expanding to other characters. Maybe we'll get one for Crow again, or maybe we'll get one for Oscar. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, some figure news there. And now let's move into the comics. So the RWBY Justice League collaboration issue 4 is going to be on sale July the 27th. And in terms of like a little cross promotion with that, I guess, the Volume 8 home video release will be coming out the 23rd of November for physical and digital copies. And with that, as a little bonus gift, you will get postcards of the various Justice League RWBY collaborative artworks, which looks fantastic, and I'm sure many people will want to have that maybe framed or put up on a wall somewhere, and while they can enjoy watching one hell of a Volume 8. Back to some more music news on a positive note. While again we don't have the full Volume 8 soundtrack, we do have a very nice compromise, and that is going to be a digital single release of the Volume 8 credit song, Friend. And as you can see, we also have the cover art for it done by A.G. Nonsuch, who is very popular in the RWBY community in terms of her artwork. She actually made this for Sirs and Madams Entertainment with their lyrics video, and it's cool to see the very fitting artwork repurposed for this album release, again with the digital single release of Friend. I think that's a very fitting collaboration there. It's great to see A.G. Nonsuch featured there, and Sirs and Madams as well by proxy. And that will be coming to digital platforms soon. It's just up in the air at the moment because of the digital platforms each having their own separate release schedules. So when that does drop on your preferred platform of choice, be on the lookout for that and enjoy one of the most heartfelt songs in RWBY for digital download. But yeah, more merchandise as well for RWBY. The FanForge has some new acrylic standees and t-shirts, so be sure to check that out as well. And on terms of side project stuff, we had First Night for RTX feature the first episode of the new RWBY spin-off series, RWBY Fairy Tales of Remnant, the animated adaptation of the same-named Fairy Tales collection book, done by E.C. Myers, and yeah, it was a fantastic watch. It was featured on the story of the Hunter's Children with fantastic artwork and background design, and also strong voice acting and narration with Ozpin involved again. And I'm really excited for that series. Just a fantastic first taste of that as well. So be sure to look out for that. And now let's move on to the video game stuff. First and foremost, Limited Run is going to be doing a standard and collector's edition release of RWBY Grim Eclipse coming July 16th. The standard edition would just be the physical release of the game, but the collector's edition has quite a lot of bonuses in alongside it. It has, as you can see, a poster, the 4 armor sets of the Team RWBY girls as enamel pins, a Crescent Rose keychain and sticker set, and a nice little collector's box as well, complete with a shadow box artwork, which looks fantastic. I'm very tempted to get this just because of that. So yeah, if you want to get the physical release of Grim Eclipse and you want to maybe get a little bonus alongside it, you got these 2 releases from Limited Run, again coming July 16th, so be on the lookout for that. But that's not the only video game related bit of news. Heading into this, we knew that we were finally getting some first proper details on the new video game from WayForward and Arc System Works. WayForward previously worked on the Shantae series and the River City Girls game, while Arc System Works has worked on Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, and Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, which of course featured RWBY. And they are working together for the brand new game RWBY Arrowfell, which I'm gonna show you guys the initial trailer for it, so check out and enjoy. So yeah, RWBY Arrowfell looks freaking wild. Of course, it said at the bottom the footage that we saw in terms of the gameplay is pre-alpha, so it's still very early days, and that reflects in terms of the release date, which is going to be 2022 now. They did say that they wanted to get it out this year, but obviously complications going on in the world and the development going on means that they do have to push it back a little bit, but a delayed game is always better than a rushed game. And we got some very exciting information in terms of the a bit more on the details of this game, which I'm going to read from this article that Eddie put out, if you bear with me just a second. Okay, so this is actually from Jeff Yater, the head of licensing and consumer products at Rooster Teeth, and he gives us a lot more details on RWBY Arrowfell, which is coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, the Nintendo Switch, and PC in, again, 2022, with WayForward being the sole developer of the game, and they are going to be publishing as well, in North America and Europe, while Arc System Works is providing creative and combat feedback and publishing in Asia as well. The game itself is going to be a 2D Metroidvania-styled adventure game, which, if you don't know what Metroidvania is, it's going to be a big, open, interconnected map with a lot of platforming and action and exploration as the core themes of the gameplay. So, as Jeff mentions here, think RWBY meets Shantae with the combat that you would expect from the show. The game itself supports 1 to 2 players at launch, and single player and local online multiplayer. So if you want to play with friends in person or online, you got that option, or if you just want to play by yourself, there you go. I'm very excited for that. I'm glad that there's online multiplayer. I can't wait to play with some of my fellow RWBY tubers, maybe some of you guys as well. And you can play as all 4 members of Team RWBY with a hot swap. So as soon as you want to switch to a new character, you can do it on the fly. and it's going to feature a completely 100% canon story from Carrie, Eddie, and Miles that takes place during Volume 7, during the Pro Huntsman period of the story. So that montage period where we saw the girls on their first missions as Pro Huntsman, that is where the story is going to be taking place. And there's also going to be some all new animation for the game that's ripped almost pretty much right from the show, that still has the same voice cast that we all know and love, and you will also see some familiar characters like we saw in the trailer, such as Ironwood and Clover and Marrow, hopefully the rest of the Aesops as well as maybe some of the Happy Huntresses. But we also see some new faces, which wasn't mentioned in this article, but I saw in an article from Nintendo Everything that they are called Team BRIR, which is the 3 characters that we saw, and the other one that was mentioned, Bianca. So we're going to be seeing some new characters for this short little side story on top of Volume 7's story, which is fantastic to hear. We also have a new original score composed by Dale North, who has done these games, which I'll show on screen, with Casey also working as an additional vocalist, I believe. So maybe we'll get some new songs, vocal songs as well. And the game will be digital only at launch, with a physical release coming a little bit later on from Limited Run Games. So if you want to get the game straight away, you'll have to get the digital version, or if you want to wait, you'll get the physical option very later on in the year. And apparently there is some significance to the word Arrowfell, but they're not quite ready to show that bit yet. But yeah, I cannot wait for this. This looks like the kind of high quality RWBY game that many of us have been craving for. I've not played a lot of Metroidvania games in my life, but the gameplay suits RWBY pretty well, it seems, in terms of like the creative exploration, the use of different items, skills, and weaponry to fight all the various monsters and enemies that we face. It looks like we're facing a mixture of the grim, some maybe shady or bought out Schnee Dust Company soldiers and that, as well as again this Team BRIR. So I cannot wait for that. It looks fantastic, and I just can't wait for that. And yeah, bring me on for more RWBY Arrowfell. Before we go any further, I just want to say that I will do maybe a further focused breakdown video of this trailer, as well as the upcoming RWBY Beyond panel, which will feature more details from Way Forward, Good Smile Company, Scholastic, Limited Run, as well as some details from Bam Presto, For Fans by Fans, and Weiss Schwartz, which I'll save a bit more discussion about that for that panel video. So yeah, be on the lookout for that and my breakdown of the RWBY Arrowfell trailer. But now let's move on to the main event, because even though we didn't get a release date, we did get a preview clip for RWBY Volume 9. And when I say that this is a first glimpse of that volume, I really do mean first glimpse. So, can I just say that this is probably the most tense, most like dark and sinister and like very uncomfortable preview clip we've had from these panels. This was so wild. So many twists and turns from just this preview alone. Like, obviously, the fact that we're watching from RWBY's perspective, Yang falling, Blake falling, Hurt being knocked off by Cinder, and then flipping Neo, who is just, even in supposed death, going full on in terms of wanting to kill RWBY still, and going really for the throat in terms of not just actually trying to choke her out, but using some emotional tactics as well, as per usual, by turning into Oscar, Yang, and Penny, which, oh, that's painful to see, and it's flipping wild as hell that we're seeing this from RWBY's point of view as they're falling into the void. And there's just a lot going on there as well. The one moment where like a ball of energy was coming out of RWBY's hand and falling with the rest of the other glowing orbs, which I'll probably discuss more on that in a separate video later on. But it didn't end there, as we ended the preview with RWBY being the first one shown waking up in San Diego, Wonderland, the mysterious other world, whatever you're calling this weird island. She's the first one we see wake up, And there's some very weird visuals going on. We got what looks like almost 2 suns, and we also got these gigantic shells and starfish, and of course these strange forests that RWBY ends the preview walking into. So yeah, for a first taste of what is going to be supposedly one of the most unique, most emotionally charged, tense, funny, like serious, dark, depressing, all kinds of different emotions volume in the entire series. Wow, what a way to kick things off, huh? Again, I'll do a proper like discussion video on it maybe in the future, but this is our first taste. I am already full from just that alone, on top of everything else that we got from this panel, and I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Again, I will do further videos on the trailers that we got here, as well as the upcoming RWBY Beyond panel, so be on the lookout for that. And please go share your thoughts on this panel and this video in the comments down below, and while you're at it, hit the subscribe and bell buttons and tick the notification box to make sure you get every new video from me as they drop. And follow me on Twitter at @KaitoDan for more on anything to do with RWBY, updates on the channel, and more. But until next time, this is our first step on the road to Volume 9, and have a good day or good night. Peace out.